My name is Daniel, and this is InvestEdge Academy. Here, we don't just talk about success or growth. We talk about the tools you need to truly understand the world around you. And today, we're diving into one of the most important skills you'll ever learn: critical thinking. Have you ever stopped and asked yourself, why do I believe the things I believe? Why do I trust the things I hear, the things I see, the things I've been told my whole life? Most people don't. Most people go through life on autopilot, accepting what they're told, following the crowd, and never questioning if any of it is actually true. But here's the thing. The world is full of lies, half-truths, manipulations. And if you don't learn how to think critically, you'll never see them. You'll never know when you're being deceived. Critical thinking isn't just a skill, it's survival. It's how you protect yourself from being misled, from being controlled, from being used. And let's be honest, in today's world, where everyone has an opinion and everyone's shouting to be heard, critical thinking has never been more important. Let's be real. Questioning things is hard. It's uncomfortable. It's scary. Because when you start questioning, you might not like the answers you find. You might realize that the things you've believed for years about the world, about other people, about yourself, aren't true. And that's why most people don't do it. It's easier to just go along with what everyone else is saying, to trust the headlines, to believe the loudest voice in the room. But here's the problem. Just because something is easy doesn't mean it's right. And just because everyone believes something doesn't mean it's true. Think about it. How many times have you seen people jump on a bandwagon only to find out later that the whole thing was based on a lie? How many times have you believed something only to realize later that you were wrong? It happens to all of us. And it happens because we don't stop to think. We don't stop to ask, is this really true? Or does it just feel true because it's what I want to believe? Here's the thing about assumptions. They're sneaky. They creep into your mind without you even realizing it. And once they're there, they shape the way you see the world. They shape the way you think, the way you act, the way you live. For example, how often do you assume something is true just because you saw it online? Or because someone you trust said it? Or because it fits with what you already believe? We all do it. It's human nature. But assumptions are dangerous. They close your mind. They stop you from asking questions. They stop you from thinking critically. The next time you hear something, whether it's on the news, on social media, or even from a friend, ask yourself, what am I assuming here? Am I assuming this is true just because it's coming from a source I like? Am I assuming this is true because it's what I want to hear? Or am I actually looking at the evidence? Let's talk about something uncomfortable. How often do you believe something just because it feels right? Because it lines up with your worldview? Because it makes you feel good about yourself? We all do it. It's called confirmation bias, and it's one of the biggest obstacles to critical thinking. It's the tendency to only pay attention to information that supports what you already believe, and to ignore anything that challenges it. Think about it. When was the last time you actually changed your mind about something important? When was the last time you admitted you were wrong? For most people, the answer is almost never, because it's hard, it's uncomfortable, it feels like losing. But here's the truth. If you're not willing to challenge your own beliefs, you'll never grow, you'll never learn, you'll never get closer to the truth. One of the simplest, most powerful tools for critical thinking is a single word: why. Why do I believe this? Why is this person saying this? Why does this idea make me feel the way it does? Most people don't ask why. They just accept. They accept what they're told, what they see, what they hear. But when you start asking why, everything changes. You start to see the cracks in the stories you've been told. You start to see the hidden motives, the biases, the agendas. For example, think about the last time you saw a headline that made you angry. Did you stop and ask, why does this make me feel this way? Why is this being presented to me in this way? Who benefits from me reacting emotionally to this? These are the kinds of questions that critical thinkers ask, and they're the questions that most people never even think about. Here's the hard truth. Thinking critically will set you apart. It will make you different. And that's not always easy, because people don't like it when you question things. They don't like it when you challenge the status quo. They don't like it when you refuse to just go along with the crowd. But here's the thing. The crowd is often wrong. History is full of examples of this. The crowd believed the earth was flat. The crowd believed smoking was healthy. The crowd believed countless lies over and over again because they didn't stop to think critically. They didn't stop to ask, is this really true? Or am I just going along with what everyone else is saying? If you want to think critically, you have to be willing to stand alone. You have to be willing to be the one person in the room who says, wait a minute, this doesn't add up. This doesn't make sense. And yes, it's hard, but it's also worth it, because the truth is worth it. Critical thinking takes courage. It takes effort. It takes a willingness to be uncomfortable. But the alternative is to live your life in ignorance, to be manipulated, to be controlled, to be a pawn in someone else's game. When you think critically, you take back control. You stop being a passive consumer of information, and you start being an active seeker of truth. You stop letting other people tell you what to think, and you start thinking for yourself. And yes, it's hard. It's messy. It's uncomfortable. But it's also freeing, because when you think critically, you're no longer at the mercy of the lies and manipulations of the world. You're no longer a prisoner of your own assumptions and biases. You're free. Free to see the world as it truly is. Free to make your own decisions. Free to live your own life. So if you're ready to challenge the way you think, if you're ready to question the stories you've been told, and if you're ready to see the world as it truly is, then you're in the right place. My name is Daniel, and this is InvestEdge Academy. Because the truth is out there, but it's not going to come to you. You have to go to it. You have to seek it. You have to fight for it. And that fight starts with a single question. Why? The choice is yours. But remember, the truth doesn't care about your comfort. It doesn't care about your feelings. It simply is. And once you see it, you'll never be the same.